Hi, welcome to my time to talk to you. My name is Dave Bakunis, and I thought I would sit and visit with you for a few moments. Most of the time you see me as one of the twits at large or as someone who's the training instructor down in the basement at Tucson Community Cable Corporation. But right now I thought I'd do some new programming instead of doing it late night on after hours, because it's not late night anymore. I just thought I'd sit down and talk to you for a minute. At least that's what public access is supposed to be about. First Amendment rights of free speech and communication between all of us who live within this community. You read the paper on Friday? Have you been reading the newspapers? How many of you really read? Good, I thought so. Anyway, in Friday's newspaper, there is another editorial column by my friend Mr. Mike Royko out of Chicago. And I thought that since not all of you get the Tucson Star in the morning, I thought maybe I would sit and take a second and read it to you. This is something to think about. Now, this comes from Mike Royko's column. It's copyright 1989 by the Chicago Tribune. For 25 or 35 cents, you can buy this yourself. But he sums up exactly what I feel on the inside concerning the latest war on drugs. He says, "This is a most confusing battle, the new and improved war on drugs. This week, an outdoor rock concert will be held at Poplar Creek in the respectable middle-class suburb of Hoffman Estates. Thousands will attend, sitting in chairs or sprawling on the grass. Even before the concert begins, many of the rock fans will have tailgate parties in the parking lot. Unlike those at football tailgate parties, where beer is the preferred brain scrambler, these tailgaters will light up marijuana cigarettes. As a young woman who attends these concerts tells me, they're the ones who want to get stoned before it even begins. But once it gets dark and the concert is on, that's when you can really smell it. I don't know what percentage of them are doing it, but if you aren't, you can just sniff it in the air." A rock critic who goes to concerts all over the country laughed and said, "It's part of the concert experience. I should get tested again for employment because I get all the ambient smoke." Does anyone get arrested? No, you might get busted if you bring your own liquor, because they lose the liquor sales. They probably figure if you smoke, you'll get the munchies and then buy food. Then there's the young woman who spent a summer working at another popular outdoor concert site, the Alpine Valley Music Theater in East Troy, Wisconsin. What could be more square than East Troy, Wisconsin? By the time the shows got going, it permeated the air. There were a few undercover cops there, but nobody got busted unless they were openly selling grass or coke. So at this next concert, there will be thousands of people merrily getting zonked on marijuana. Some probably will be sniffing coke or some other hallucinogen. In other words, they're users. Users. And now, in the new and improved war on drugs that we're hearing about, the users have become the prime targets. At least that's what President Bush is telling us, and his drug generalissimo, William Bennett. It's the user who must be stopped. If that's the strategy, then why will there be thousands of users using in Poplar Creek Park at that concert? If we're going to focus on the users, why aren't policemen swarming all over the place saying, "User, anything you say may be used against you. Hey kid, stop giggling so I can read you your rights"? Why aren't they? Because it's impossible, that's why. Let's say that half of the audience, now this concert is supposed to have 24,000 people. Let's say half the audience at Poplar Creek is smoking or sniffing something. That'd be about 10 or 12,000 users. If you stuff them in tight, you can get about 20 people in the average paddy wagon. It's also called a police squad roll, S-Q-U-A-D-R-O-L, squad roll. Now, with 20 people in a van, or squad roll, you would need 5 500 squad rolls to bust everyone. Now, I'm sure the people, as Royko says, I'm sure the people in Hoffman Estates don't have 500 squad rolls. In fact, it doesn't have a dozen squad rolls. They're going to have to rent a fleet of buses. But if they somehow did round everybody up and put them on these buses, what are they going to do with them? 10,000 or 12,000 users stashed even overnight where? The concert will go on, and the users who wish to use will use, and nothing will be done about it. This will happen at Poplar Creek and dozens of other places this weekend. That's because the use of marijuana by America's white middle class, in effect, has been decriminalized. It's the result of popular demand by the users and the acceptance by police and other authorities that they can't do a thing about it because they're overwhelmed and outnumbered. But the new and improved war on drugs, $7.8 billion, goes on. In Washington, Bennett says that we might have to spend $50 billion over the next 5 years to purify America's nostrils and de-addle its brains. That's not exactly pocket money, is it? Except in Washington, where $500 million is just one airplane. So maybe we ought to stop playing let's pretend that marijuana is illegal. We might recognize that it probably is this country's biggest cash crop. Then we should legalize it and tax it and get back some of that $50 billion. Either that, or maybe Bennett and Bush should prove that they are serious about getting after the users. Pounce on those rock concerts. It can be done. All they have to do is call out the Army, Navy, Marines, National Guard, and maybe they might find 500 squad rolls amongst them. Now, I didn't make this up. That's Mike Royko's column this week. And in light of what Mr. Royko said, what are you doing this coming Tuesday evening as Metallica comes to town? Community Center is going to be a rock concert. Why won't the Tucson police be out in front of the Tucson Community Center and bust the users? Let's get serious. Let's get honest. I'm not telling you to legalize it, decriminalize it, use it, or don't use it. I just like to see a consistency in what we say. Thanks for letting me take this time with you. Something new is coming. Harv Wienerman is missing very soon. Something new from TWIT and TC3. We'll see you next time. I've been thinking, I wonder what would happen if my mother ever saw this. Maybe I'd better tell her not to get a cable, you know? Hey, Ma, turn off the TV.